Hi. So I had to bring out my trusty. Well, this is not really trusty. Today I'm going to be showing you some short book recommendations. I swear this is my fifth time recording a video for short book recommendations. Hi, my name is Shalini, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. I talk about books here, and if you're not new to my channel, welcome back. I know you probably are waiting for my Christmas vlog. I'm still reading Christmas books. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to read like 24 Christmas books. I thought first I would do like the advent calendar thing, read 24 Christmas books, but that was way too much. That's a little bit too much for me. So maybe I'll do the 12 advent calendar things, that is read 12 books, 12 Christmas books. And yeah. So anyway, today I'm going to be recommending a few short books in order to help you complete your reading goal, or if you just want to read some short books at the end of this year. And okay, so the first book that I want to recommend you is Rosarita. It's by Anita Desai. It is a really, really short book, and the cover is uh, just like when I saw the cover from the publisher, I immediately wanted to request the book. So it talks about a young woman who is in Spain, I think. No, Mexico. So they're sitting in a park bench in Mexico, and she has arrived because she wants to learn Spanish. And there she meets another woman who tells her that she knew her mother. Like she recognizes her because she knew someone who looked like her, and they get to talking. She basically tells her that she's a spitting image of her mother, and she like made the same journey from India to Mexico as a young artist. And but our protagonist, who we follow, her name is Bonita. She says, "No, my mother did not paint. She never traveled to Mexico." But like this woman she meets at the park, she insists that yes, I have met your mother. She just looks like you. But yeah, so they get to talking, and then we have these revelations. So this is a really interesting and really wholesome as well. And it's a book about grief, about loneliness, and basically a like person who's just trying to make her own path in her own life. And yeah, that's all of there is in this itty bitty book. I I don't think it's even 100 pages. Let me just check. You still would want more of this book. No, it's not even 100 pages. It's less than 100 pages. So, like, even after finishing this book, I wanted more of it. The author is just so good at writing, characterization, these themes. So, yeah, I highly recommend you check it out. So, moving on to the next book. This book actually is something that you can't read if you haven't read Sorcery of Thorns, which this novel is like a short story from. This is Mysteries of Thorn Manor. It follows Elizabeth, Silas, and Nathaniel. And yeah, just this antics, silly things they get into. So Elizabeth and Nathaniel's life together post the ending of Sorcery of Thorns. I again, this would not be for everyone. Only if you have read Sorcery of Thorns, which I highly recommend if you're looking for a fantasy standalone. It's really good. So after reading that, after finishing that, you can pick up this book. Moving on to the next book, which is something you can definitely read. It's just a standalone. It's All the Lovers and the Night by Mieko Kawakami. It follows a proofreader in their 30s. It's set in Japan. Tokyo, I believe. Her work is her life. So her co-workers are, well, they're not exactly her friends. I mean, like, she doesn't have any contact with anyone other than her colleagues. But one day she meets this man called Mitsutsuka, and then things start to change. There's not much action in this book. It's a book you just have to feel. You have to. It's basically, this book is like a movie that you are reading. It's about like friendship and feeling lonely in a big world. And yeah, I found it relatable in like a lot of ways. So I would definitely recommend you pick this up. The writing is again so beautiful. It's easy to fall in love with the writing, and yeah, it just, you can finish it in no time. It's less than 200 pages, if I remember correctly. And yeah, so this was All the Lovers in the Night. The next book this is a classic actually, and I'm pretty sure if you are chronically online, you have seen quotes from it or have seen people recommend it. And it's Letters to a Young Poet by Raina Maria Rilke. So this is basically a collection of letters which Rainer wrote to a young officer, a young military cadet. Military cadet is basically studying at this college where he was a student at. And when he discovers that Rainer went to this college, the officer found Rainer's contact, and that's when he started sending letters. He did not obviously, expect to hear back, but then that's how the correspondence started. And so they just keep giving each other advice on writing, relationship, everything from they talk about everything from their childhood to love and everything. So these letters are very poetic, and also very relatable, because again, everyone will tell you this book is like a must read for creatives. And yeah, I would just say this is a book everyone should read. It's just a good read. There's something about this book that everyone would say, yeah, this I relate to this so hard, and that's how I felt. There are so many quotes I underlined in this book. Maybe let me just read. Okay. One quote I underlined. It says here, physical desire is a sensual experience, no different from pure contemplation or the pure sensation with which fine fruit sates the tongue. It is a great and endless feeling which is granted to us, a way of knowing the world, the fullness and the splendor of all knowledge. And that we receive this pleasure cannot be a bad thing. What is bad is the way almost all of us misuse experience and waste it and apply it as a stimulus to the tired parts of our lives, as a distraction instead of as a concentration of ourselves into climactic points. I think this also can be applied to the way we consume media these days, because media, any movie, TV shows, or any art that we consume are made by humans like us, and they are basically telling the story maybe about themselves or about certain things in our lives, and we just fail to grasp it. Uh, so yeah, this was Letters to a Young Poet. Let's move on to my one of my favorite books of this year, which is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This is such an amazing standalone fantasy as well. This is like longer than the previous books I recommended, less than 300 pages though. So this book basically tells a story of this princess who goes on this journey to save her sister from her abusive husband, and she seeks the help of this witch who gives her these tasks to accomplish. And in order to do so, the princess has to go on this adventure with a knight, a former knight, the witch herself. There's also a fairy godmother and a chicken who is possessed by a demon. This is a really weird grouping of people, of individuals. It's just so good. It is the found family is just like, I don't know what to say other than don't look anything up. Just pick it up, just read it. You won't be disappointed. It's just amazing. It's like basically the found family is the hero of the story, and of course the if you are someone who loves adventure kind of a fantasy, then yeah, this book should definitely be on your radar. And yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. The next recommendation that I have for you is you can definitely read this as a standalone, which is six Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. Okay, so this follows a human who lives in a village where its residents have this weird illness that no one seems to know what it is. And I think they just, yeah, I forgot about it, how the illness works. So there's no cure, and but like our protagonist, who is Lilith, so she kind of discovers that vampire blood could be the cure to this, because I guess the vampire lives near to their village and he doesn't have the disease or something. Anyway, so the vampire blood is a cure for the disease. And so how will she get the blood? I mean, because when she requests it, he doesn't want to give it to her, but he likes the roses Lilith makes. Our vampire, who is I forgot the name of the vampire, Jasper. Anyway, so the vampire basically tells Lilith, I like the roses you make, they are really unique. So let's come to and a business arrangement, that is, you will give me one rose each day, and that very same day I will give you a vial of my blood. So 6 days, you will give me 6 roses that you created, and I will give you 6 vials of my blood. And yeah, so it's a win-win. Basically, that's all in terms of the plot of the book. She basically takes this blood and tries to find a way to cure, because someone close to her has a disease, and so time is running out. So she has to find a cure. Of course, everyone in the village hates the vampire, and also will eventually start to hate her, because of they don't know why she is constantly going to the mansion to meet the vampire, so they will start to view her in a negative light. And yeah, and the romance is absolutely good. It's actually the best book in the entire series. Again, this is a standalone. You don't really have to read the rest of the books. There are only two books in the series before this novella, so you don't need to read them. So the next book that I absolutely love and therefore would love to put on to you, that I would love to recommend to you, is This Is How You Lose the Time War, by Max Gladstone and Amal El Mohdad. And this book is just so good. It's about love in the most, like, this is enemies to lovers. So it has basically everything that you would want one in less than 200 pages. It's So let me just read the synopsis for you. So it says that among the ashes of a dying world, an agent of the commandant finds a letter. It reads, "Burn before reading." So we have these two rival agents who are part of these two different groups who are in a war. So red and blue, they are obviously each fighting for their own sides of the war, but start writing letters to each other. And that basically started as this taunt, because, war, they both are trying to kill each other. Like, maybe not kill, I mean, win, whatever. So what started as a taunt, battlefield boast, grows into something more epic and romantic, something that could change the past and their future. The discovery of their bond will mean their deaths, obviously, because they are supposed to be enemies. Yeah, that's how cute inside the book. It's basically a love story that spans both time and space. So it's also sapphic. If you're someone who loves reading epic love stories, and of course, letters. So yeah, and yearning, lots of yearning and lyrical writing, then I would recommend you check this book out. It is so good, at least in my opinion. Okay, so the next book we have is Radiance by Grace Draven. Radiance is a fantasy romance where there are these the humans and non-humans are divided by these royal kingdoms, and so I think they are at war, and like, so to to get peace, basically they come to this arrangement, which is a marriage of convenience between you know the two families. And yeah, so that's basically it. We have a human princess who is marrying a non-human prince or king. Maybe it was a king. And yeah, I absolutely love recommending the book to everyone, not just because it's short, but because it has this amazing banter and chemistry between the leads, and it's just so good. It's both funny and romantic at the same time, and it's just such an amazing time. Grease Raven writes some great fantasy romance books. It's one of my favorite books. I once a while I always love rereading the book. The next book that I want to recommend is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. The title is, it just pretty much explains the entire plot of the book. It's really short. It's 182 pages ish. It goes by really quickly. The main couple are both funny, and they like commit arson together. So it's like funny and romantic at the same time. It's just such a good time. Not just this book. If you finish it, you can immediately pick up the next two books in the series, which are just as funny and romantic. The antics the lead gets into are just hilarious, and it's just you won't be able to keep the smile off of your face. They're just so good. I highly recommend reading the first two books. The third book, didn't quite, it didn't quite hit as much as the previous two books, but I still would recommend you pick up the entire series. All three of them, I do believe, are short books that you can read in a day. If you're a fast reader, you can read it like in an hour or two. It's just that quick read, a very easy read, that like go for it. So the last short book recommendation that I have for you, I unfortunately haven't been able to pick this book up, but I have read other books by this author. It's a Januaries by Libby Blake. So this is a collection. This is not a short story. It's like an anthology of short stories written by Libby Blake. It has her beautiful lyrical writing. If you love her books, then definitely check this out. This has a kind of stories which are reimaginings of fairy tales, and there are also heist stories, and these absurdist poetry, and also an actual set of wedding vows. So yeah, these stories are all about classic Livy Blake: life, death, love, revenge. That's These are all the book recommendations I have for you. I am not even going to, I don't know how many books I even recommended. Honestly, there are so many other books that I want to recommend. I picked up a lot of short books this year, and because I didn't used to like reading short books. I don't know why. I much prefer reading books more than 300 pages. But yeah, these are all my recommendations. If you're someone who needs recommendations to finish your reading goal, let me know what your reading goal is, if you have completed it or not. And if you are someone who has more short book recommendations, then I would love to hear them. Just leave them in the comments below. Yeah, and that's it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.